Hello there. It is Monday, January 27th. I'm running a little late today because I love how I say I'm late. I got here at 6:02 instead of like 5:45, 5:50. But to me now that feels late. But this morning my key fob for my car was not working. I changed the battery last night, or so I thought. I did change the battery and I even tested it last night and it was working. But for whatever reason this morning when I went out and tried to unlock my car, it wasn't working. I tried to use the app. I got into my car, but then the car wouldn't start. I know there's like a manual key, but it was gonna stress me out if I couldn't figure out the whole key fob issue. Good news is, I figured it out. I don't know if the battery just died overnight. I tried out 2 different batteries. They were not working, but success. I finally found one that worked. All that being said, it's a Monday. I'm gonna bring you along with me. It's a very normal day, so don't expect anything all that revolutionary. But let's spend a day teaching 4th grade on a Monday toward the end of January. To use a phrase that my mom recently used with me, this vlog may end up being a big nothing burger. Because as I mentioned, there's just nothing special going on today. It is a extremely run-of-the-mill day. Plus, usually I come back after a weekend and I have all these things to share that I worked on over the weekend or that I recently got, and I got none of that today. I mean, as you saw, the only things I took out of my book bag were my laptop, which I bring back and forth with me to school every day, and then my coffee cup, which I'm gonna use to make some cinnamon tea. I'm back on my apple cinnamon tea grind. It's just been exactly what I'm craving in the morning. But over the weekend, I didn't do much school related. I mean, Friday night, Billy and I always watch a movie. This week was my pick and I chose Groundhog Day because neither of us had ever seen that movie. And obviously it's a classic, so we had to watch it. And then Saturday we slept in, we went to the gym, we went out to a nice dinner. It was great. And then Sunday was powerlifting day and football because there was a big powerlifting meet happening. So I watched that. I did a bunch of meal prep, which I do pretty much every Sunday, but yesterday I prepped all of my lunches for the week. I prepped dinner for last night, cooked dinner for last night, prepped dinner for tonight, prepped a few other things for later on in the week. And by the time I did all of that and did dishes, that took up 2.5 hours of the day. And then while football was on, because Washington was playing Philadelphia, and sadly they did lose, so we are not going to the Super Bowl. It's okay, I'll get over it. But I worked a little bit on slides on my computer, and then that was it. So I don't really have a whole lot to share that's new. And you know what? It's like that sometimes. It doesn't always have to be new and exciting. Sometimes it's nice just to kind of stick with the routine. Now, even though today is normal, the rest of the week is not. It's actually somewhat of a busy week. Tomorrow we are doing our interim testing, which is kind of like our practice test for STAR, which is our big test that we take in the spring. Tomorrow is math, the week after is reading. Now, because tomorrow is the math interim, I'm gonna have to move my room around at the end of the day. I have to separate all of the trap tables. I've got to take down all of my posters from behind me on this wall. Wednesday, we have staff development. So it's like a PD day. Our students are off school. It's Lunar New Year. That's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are pretty normal days. But because we are condensing everything into less time, so for example, this week science, instead of a 5-day week, it's really technically a 2-day week because of interim testing, off school on Wednesday for students, and then we also have Makerspace on Friday. So we are not doing an investigation. We are not even taking like notes like usual. We're just giving them printed notes to clue in their notebook because there's no time. I have not filled out anything on my math word wall. Let me show you. The Friday before last, I had erased my entire math word wall because we were taking our kind of mid-unit test. And obviously during those tests, my students don't have access to their notes or anything like that because the whole point is to prepare them for high stakes testing when they don't have access to any of those resources. But last week, I didn't fill in anything new on the math wall because I knew we were gonna do interim testing this week and I'd have to erase it all anyway. So this is blank. Science is coming along. We have 2 more weeks. So this week we're doing rocks and natural resources, and then the week after will be critical energy resources. So I will be filling in that part of the word wall, but as I mentioned, my students are just gonna get printed notes to glue in their notebook because we don't have time to spend an entire class period taking notes. But one thing I will share that I do every week that really helps me stay on top of all of the events happening, all of my to-dos, is what I call a weekly check-in, although I've heard better names for it than that. But every Sunday, I spend anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes going through my to-do list, looking over my calendar, processing all my emails, and just getting a full cumulative list of what I have to get done for the week ahead. So I've shared before that I utilize Google Tasks for my to-do list. It's a free app. It's connected to your Google account, so you can access it on any device. I typically do this on my computer, but then I can also access the to-do list on my phone. And on my Google Tasks, I have several different lists. My main three are my power list. Those are the 3 to 5 things I want to get done that day. My week list, which is the list of things I need to get done by the end of the week. And then my future list. Those are things I think of that will get done, just not right now, AKA in the future. Beyond that, I also have lists for like current projects, things that I'm waiting for. So if I've ordered something or I'm waiting for a response from someone in an email, I will list that there. I have a things to buy list. So right now, with Valentine's Day coming up, we are collecting baby pictures for all of our students, and we're gonna put them in a slideshow, and our students are gonna guess the baby. And I figured, as a prize for whoever gets the most correct, I wanted to get like a baby bottle pop. If you've ever seen those, it's a candy, almost like a ring pop and Fun Dip kind of combined. It has like a lollipop that's shaped like the end of a bottle, and then you can flip it into like a powdered dust. So you're dipping sugar and more sugar.
Want some Sugar Ray on me?
I thought that that would be a cute prize to go with the theme. And then I have a list of like other movies and shows that I want to watch at some point. But back to the to-do list. So this week, looking at my power list for today, I need to prep my classroom for the math interim and record this vlog. That's really all I have on my list for today. I will also get some lesson planning done. I don't put that on my list because it's something that I do every single week. It's just part of my routine. Typically, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are when I have planning time to myself, and that's when I get the bulk of my planning done. But if I look at my week list, most of the items I've actually attached to a specific day on my to-do list. So within Google Tasks, when you create a task, you can then go in and assign it to a day and a time, and that helps me stay on track for the week. And I will put them in order of the day that I plan to complete it. So for example, tomorrow is Billy's dad's birthday. And yes, I have that on my list to wish him a happy birthday, because otherwise I will forget. So that's attached to a certain day and time. Picking up my interim testing bucket tomorrow, I have that set to tomorrow at 6:45 a.m. Completing certain forms, that'll get done at a meeting I have on Wednesday. Submitting our interim progress report grades, that has to get done tomorrow. So looking at this week, I don't have too many things going on each day, which hopefully means I can maybe fit in some extra things and try to get ahead. But there are some items on my list where I'm like, well, I'll do it whenever I get time. So for example, I have to administer a survey to my students, kind of like a school climate survey, but it doesn't have to be done at a specific day and time. And so that's on my list of, at some point this week during science, I'm going to give that to both of my classes. I just don't know exactly when, so that one's not attached to a day. But every Sunday I go through, I look at my calendar, I add any things to my to-do list that have to get done that week. And if there are any items on my future list that I want to prioritize that week, I will move them from one list to another. And then at the end, I pick out the power list items I'm gonna do the next day. So yesterday when I processed, I go, oh, I've got to set up my room on Monday for interim testing, and I'm going to vlog on Monday. So that is something that I have stuck with for a couple of years now, and it has worked really well for me. So if you're looking for a system and that's helpful for you, there you go. Not revolutionary, but it does work. My room is pretty much all ready to go for the interim tomorrow. I got their trap tables moved around, positioned where I need them to be. As you saw, I put them so that I have a student on each of the diagonals on the sides. I still need to put out sticky notes at their seats. I write their name on a sticky note, put it at the spot that they're gonna sit, and then when they come in the morning, they're allowed to have 2 books once they finish the test. So I have them pick out their 2 books. They put the sticky note with their name on top. I collect their books and I just put them all on the back counter, but that way I know whose books are whose. And when they finish testing, I take their Chromebook and I give them their books. But other than that, I'm ready to go. As you saw, I took down the posters from my bulletin board, which because I attach them with these little, they're like push pins, but they have clips with them. So the push pin goes into the bulletin board, and then I have the clip piece that I just clip the posters into, so it makes it much faster to take the posters down, and then tomorrow, once we're done testing, put the posters back up. That has definitely been a game changer. Obviously, when we take the reading one next week, I don't have to take any of this down, so that at least is good. But that's about it for the day. I stuffed Tuesday folders after school. I did get planning done during my planning time, although it's always surprising how long it takes. I had 45 minutes and I got planned like a lesson and a half. And of that lesson and a half, I had already done like the spiral review problem, the application problem, the fluency practice, all of that was already done. So just the like conceptual part of the lesson, I got a lesson and a half done in 45 minutes. But we're making progress. I'm currently planned almost through Valentine's Day. So I'm a solid like 3 weeks in advance, which feels good. But that was the day. I mean, there's just not a whole lot to share. As I mentioned, we didn't do a science investigation. Math was very normal. We just kind of continued on with our progression through the unit, and then other than getting ready for the interim test tomorrow, there's not a whole lot going on, so this probably was a very boring vlog, but at the same time, I just kind of want to show you, like, this is the routine. You know, I talked about my to-do list and how I manage that. Every Monday afternoon, I stuff Tuesday folders after school. I make sure that I'm on track for the week ahead, but it's just a cycle that repeats on and on. So I like to show these things too, because it's not always some fun investigation or some out-of-the-box math lesson in the transformation room. A lot of the day-to-day just kind of looks like this. But if you somehow still enjoyed it, probably not, but just humor me. Give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any future videos that will hopefully be more interesting. And as always, thank you for watching. I love you so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one.